What's going on, everybody? It's Steve. We're here with the VBL Season 12 Draft Review. You may have noticed my team sucks. For the last 3 seasons, I've done team building challenges, the no repeating moves, no repeating Terra types or items, and then no repeating abilities. I hadn't actually done a draft challenge since Season 5, where I made that Shedinja team. Was that Daddy Plan Part 2? That might be wrong. But we had a 32 coach draft, which meant this was the worst possible time to do a monotype draft, because the odds that you get a good team out of one type is very unlikely. So of course that's what I decided to do. But which type did I want to draft? Here's some questions that I considered. Is it possible to draft 11 Mons with this type? Does this type have good secondary types? For that, I'm looking for types that cover my weaknesses and types that hit those types effectively. What will my point spread look like with this type? What moves am I looking for on the team? And I didn't want to do water type because it would be too easy. You could very easily make a reasonable water-only team. And I didn't want a bug type team because it's too hard, as we saw with Daddy's team way back when. So, first question, which types are possible? I wanted a minimum of 40 Pokemon between 2 points and whatever Iron Hands was at. Iron Hands was the max, I think. So I did an analysis of the board to see how many of each type there were, and, the numbers match up with my theory before. Water type had the most, bug type had the least. And then I cut out anything that was below 40. Bug, rock, ice, dragon, steel, fairy, ghost, ground, poison, all cut out. Electric and normal barely on the cusp. So those I cut out water. Those 8 types there are the only types that I was considering. We moved on to the next question. So those 8 types listed there. So again, I wanted defensive types that cover each type weakness, and I want stab against the types that hit me super effectively. So we started with electric on the lower end there. I needed bug, grass, flying defensively, and I needed to hit ground, grass, electric, and dragon. This is incorrect. That's hitting things that electric resists. I really only needed to hit ground, but I'm not going to go back and edit that. Actually, somewhere in the creating of this slide I changed my mind, because normal is also incorrect. On normal I'm hitting things that resist normal. So I guess that's what I was doing with electric there as well. But on the resist side for normal I needed flying, poison, bug, psychic, fairy. I cannot get bug, I believe, but there's a lot of normal psychic types. There's one normal fairy and it sucks, and there's a lot of normal flying types. If I want to hit steel, I just get a ground type. If I want to hit ghosts, I get Sui and Zoroark. If I want to hit rock, I get a ground type again. So that's pretty reasonable. Fire side, these are just the types I need to resist, and there's a lot there. So fire was out, not even considering the offensive. Psychic, those are once again just the resists or immunities in the case of normal. There's a lot there. That's too much. Fighting can't cover offense and defense. There was too many to list here. On the dark side, I just need flying, poison, bug, psychic, and fairy, of which those all exist. And I need to hit fighting, dark, and fairy. Yeah, I guess this is just... I am just hitting the things that is resisted by dark. And flying, electric, and normal. So this point is incorrect. But if I pick dark, flying hits fighting, psychic hits fighting, bug hits dark, fairy hits dark, poison hits fairy. That would be very easy to do. Flying side, I need fighting, ground, steel, grass, electric, dragon, and fire to hit all of the resists. And I want to hit rock, electric, ice, and I would add steel in here as a resist. Once again, fighting covers the rock, ice, and steel. Ground covers the rock and the steel and the electric. Steel covers the ice and the rock. Grass covers the rock. Electric doesn't really cover anything, neither does dragon. And fire covers the ice and the steel. Grass, defensively, you need literally every type, or you want every type, so canceled out grass. So that left me with electric, normal, dark, and flying. What would my team look like? So here I analyzed how many of each type were in each point total, from 22 plus all the way down to 2, not including 1, because you don't want to plan your team around the 1-pointers, although I did. So normal is very skewed low. I believe these are the 2 Ursalunas, of which I can only get 1 of them. There's a Porygon 2 and a Farigiraf and something else here. Maybe Oranguru. There's a Zoroark and something else here. I forget what 21 was. But yeah, that would be very top heavy, filled out with some lower value mons. Dark and flying are both pretty even. A lot of good dark types, but other than that, it's pretty evenly distributed. Same with flying, a little bit heavy in the 6-point category. Electric, it would be tough. I would have to get at least 2 of these, I think, in order to make a good team, because it skews pretty heavily towards the mid to bottom. What moves do I want? Ideally, I want Trick Room, Tailwind, Fake Out, and a Redirection move. Flying type has 3 Trick Room mons, Drifblim, Articuno, and Drifloon. 50 Tailwind, obviously. 1 Fake Out, and that 50 could be wrong, I got tired of counting. 1 Fake Out, which is Delibird, and 3 Redirection, Jumpluff, Skiploom, +1. Vivillon. Electric has 0 Trick Room, which is tough, 3 Tailwinds, 6 Fake Outs, and 4 Redirection. Dark has 3 Trick Room, 10 Tailwind, 12 Fake Out, and 1 Redirection. And Normal has 10 Trick Room, 8 Tailwind, 4 Fake Out, and 3 Redirection. So those are all pretty reasonable, maybe not Electric. My deciding factor. We had that pick draft, so I picked pick 16, so that I only have to wait 30 or 32 picks between my pick. That meant that fewer would be taken after each round, so I'm more likely to get the mon that I want for my type. Sure, I lose the wheel, but after the wheel I would lose 63 or something picks every round. I would decide on the type based on what is gone when I picked. On the flying side, I lost Tornadus. Realistically, I don't think I was going to pick Tornadus anyway, it was too expensive. On the dark side, I lost Chien-Pao, Incin, and Chi-Yu, which basically meant I wasn't going to pick dark. On the electric side, I lost Raging Bolt and Iron Hands. And on the normal side, I lost Farigiraf. So for me, this came down to normal or flying, with a slight backup of electric. And because there's no normal electric, I went with Thundurus. That gave me the option to pivot to electric if I wanted to, but ideally I was going to focus on flying here. Prankster and Defiant are both great abilities. This mon is very versatile, it pairs with so many different mons, and electric always brings this up. You can really express your playstyle with a mon like this. This is one of my electric resists. As we talked before, the electric type doesn't really help offensively, but it doesn't really hurt. Dark was off the table. I considered Ursaluna to go normal, and actually even by like round 6, you still could have drafted a good mono-normal team. So it might have been easier, but we go with flying. Round 2, I had some snipes. Pelipper, Lando T, and Lando I. Lando T was literally the pick before me. I wanted a crazy rain team. The ideal team would have been something like Thundurus, Pelipper, one of the Landos, didn't matter which, Tornadus Therian, and yeah, that was about it. And so I could just spam these crazy spread moves in the rain, get good tears off. Would have been a great time. I still liked flying more than electric after those snipes though, so I grabbed Dragonite, which was the highest remaining flying type in point value. It's got a huge move pools, great abilities in inner focus and multiscale, and huge stats all across the board. It also gimps the Chien-Pao team, which is pretty funny, and gives me another electric resist. Other mons I considered here were Salamence for the Intimidate, and Moxie's also good. Jugulus would have paired well with the potential electric terrain coming out from a Thunderous. Pick 3. These weren't exactly snipes, but mons that I was considering on the team. Torn T, as we were talking about the rain mode. Zapdos Galar is a good fighting flying type, of which there are only 3. And Articuno Galar, which is one of the few mons with Trick Room. I wasn't going to pick any of them this round, but I did want them. So I grabbed Corviknight, which is a bulk lord. It has good abilities with Unnerve, maybe Pressure, unlikely, and Mirror Armor is the main one. And it's slow, so I can fit it into a Trick Room mode, and it's got a lot of good setup moves. It also gives me a Rock and Ice resist, and it hits Rock and Ice super effectively. I also consider Gyarados here, and in hindsight, I wish I had picked Gyarados up before Corviknight. Maybe Corviknight went later. If you picked between 17 and 32, let me know if you would have picked Corviknight in that range, and I'll be sad. Because I got sniped on Gyarados. Heaven picked it, and if Heaven didn't pick it, Electric was going to pick it, so there's no way I was going to get Gyarados. And Jugulus also went to Braff. Never mon I really considered that hard, but it is a good mon that would have fit on the team with some synergy. Really sad about the Gyarados snipe, because it was going to be my pick this round. So I grabbed an Amorous Therian, which is the best flying Trick Room mon. Can run both physical and special, and it is very bulky, with Overcoat if I ever happen to face Amoonguss or something. Some other considerations, Drifblim or the other Enamorous. The other Enamorous has Contrary, so that would pair with a Scary Face or an Eerie Impulse Thunderous. However, it was very expensive. I thought having a Trick Room mode on this team would be more beneficial. All that I needed to do to get that is Drifblim. So I looked at the board and I thought this was more likely to go than Drifblim, so I took a gamble. Got Drifblim the next round. Only flying type that I cared about that went this round was Moltres, which was one of the 3 good fire flying types, Talonflame and Charizard being the other. Drifblim was the only Trick Room setter with Articuno gone, other than Drifloon. But it also gives me Unburdened shenanigans with Thunderous, and it is a great support. Things like Will-O-Wisp, Tailwind, obviously, Strength Sap. Pain Split, I think it gets, Destiny Bond. Like, Pain Split on something with this much HP basically acts as a healing move. It's got reasonable offenses. Dream Draft Mon. Fake out immune to do whatever you want, basically. And I had no other consideration this round. If I didn't get Drifblim, I would have left myself 3 points at the end of the draft so I could drop an Amorous Therian for an Amorous. Pick 6. There goes Staraptor and Charizard this round. I wanted the Charizard for the Sun mode. Electric picked that. So I know I saw Jace complaining about Electric picking Charizard, but it wouldn't have got back to him. I would have picked Charizard this round. Staraptor I wanted for Final Gambit Trick Room stuff, plus Intimidate. Instead I got Gliscor. There was only Gligar or Gliscor left for ground after the Landos both went in the first round. Gives me an electric immunity, resists rock, and hits electric and rock super effectively, and steel. It's got good bulk, and with my team, it can literally just spam Earthquake every single turn of every single game. Some other mons I considered Hawlucha, Flamigo, because I still really wanted that fighting type, and Squawkabilly, because I still really wanted Intimidate Final Gambit with Staraptor gone. And there goes the Squawkabilly. Slushy grabbed it for the exact same reasons that I wanted it. So there's no more realistic Intimidate picks. Masquerain was there, and Staravia was there, I guess. But I grabbed Hawlucha. This was a tough consideration between Hawlucha and Flamigo. Flamigo with Quostar could pair well with my Drifblim Unburdened shenanigans, but Flamigo does not have coaching. Flamigo does have Wide Guard, but I had another Wide Guard planned. This fighting type gives me a rock resist, and also offensively hits ice and rock types. This is the fastest mod on my team at 118, gives me coaching, and even more unburdened stuff, and Mold Breaker if that is ever necessary. Again, thought about Flamigo, thought about Tropius, thought about Jumpluff. Tropius for the Wide Guard, Jumpluff for the Rage Powder. One second. That got very loud. Okay. Pick 8. Some more snipes. I was considering spending most of my remaining points on Murkrow, just to give me even more prankster shenanigans. Fletchinder as that flying type as they were running down, and Pavilion for another Rage Powdermon. Now there's no fire types left but Oricorio. You'd notice I don't have Quiver Dance on my team, so I was not picking Oricorio. I grabbed Tropius, which is the only good wide guard left. I believe Wingull was available. Not gonna happen. Gives me another electric resist, and hits rock type super effectively. It has 3 sun abilities, Harvest, Chlorophyll, and Solar Power, so it gives me a decent sun mode. Can run it physical or special, it's very bulky, and it has setup moves. Swords Dance, I believe, definitely has Calm Mind. The only other mon I considered here was Jumpluff. Did I want Rage Powder or Wide Guard? Wide Guard will help against Rock Slides, Blizzards, and Discharges, so that seemed like the better choice. And I won't lie to the people, I'm probably bringing this every week. Pick 9. I lost Articuno, which was the only good ice flying type. Delibird was there, but Delibird is garbage other than Fake Out. So I grabbed Minior, which has a very interesting ability in Shields Down, and pretty good stats. It's going to be hard to build because of the ability, but it's also going to be hard to prep against because of the ability, because it's very tanky at the start, and then it's very offensive at the end. It's got good setup with Shell Smash, which means I can run it physical or special. I can also run Meteor Beam with a Power Herb, but that kind of requires me to be in the Shields Down form. Good Trick Room partner is 60 speed, and it hits Ice types super effectively. Other mods I considered here were Mandibuzz, Bombardier, autocorrect, and Hisuian Braviary. Those are all just good mons. At this point, I'm just trying to pick good mons that fill a niche. Bombardier would have been the rock type with Rocky Payload, and Braviary with Sheer Force. Pick 10. Couple snipes here, Pachirisu and Dreadnought. Huh? Well, I'm a Paldean gym leader here with flying types. So instead I picked Toucannon. Very strong with Skill Link and Sheer Force. I posted some calcs when I drafted this. Sheer Force, Power Herb, Sky Attack, Okoing a Terrakion, and Skill Link, Bullet Seed, Terragrass, Okoing a Regirock. And with Sheer Force, I can go special with Hurricanes in the Rain, and it's actually stronger than Tinted Lens Noctowl, so that was the reason I went Toucannon over Noctowl. And it's decent in Trick Room, again, with 60 speed. Other considerations here, Jumpluff again, Bombardier again, Braviary again, Delibird for the Fake Out, Noctowl, Swanna for a Water type, Vespiquen for the actual slowest flying mon, and Mandibuzz once again. And then we get to my final pick, which was Mantine. Nope, it's Terraflying, specifically Terraflying Ludicolo. Around the middle of the draft, I decided I would make my last pick a mon that has to be used Terraflying if it is on the field. I wanted Pachirisu first because Terraflying Volt Absorb Follow Me is very useful on a mono flying team. Dreadnought gives me that useful rock type as we talked about before, and Swift Swim. Another thing, I wanted it to be some sort of corollary between another flying type. So Pachirisu, I would have said, was a Emolga, and either Ludicolo or Dreadnought, I was going to say, is a Mantine. This gives me Fake Out. So if I have this thing out next to Thundurus, I can Terraflying Fake Out, Rain Dance, and then I'm good to go. Which is easier to set up than any of the other ones I was looking at. Gives me a Ice and Electric resist, and hits rock types. And it rounds out my Sneaky Rain team with Swift Swim, Prankster Rain Dance, Wild Bolt Storm, and everything on my team clicking Hurricane. Also, the rain helps Corviknight. And Tropius. That's it, I think. My other consideration after all the other picks went through was Electabuzz with Eviolite. Super bulky, can live a Baxcalibur 4-hit Icicle Spear, even when it's Terraflying. But Electabuzz is missing that motor drive, and I had 1 point short to get Electivire, because I picked Minior. Anyway, that's the team. General notes: I wish I had Gyarados, Charizard, and Pachirisu over Ludicolo. Team is full of shenanigans. The team has really big numbers. Just look at the top team from Purple's tier list. I've got much higher HP, way higher attack, higher defense, basically the same special attack, a little bit higher on special defense, and speed is usually a wash. Every single Mon on my team is bringable and serves a distinct purpose, but it will generally be Torn plus Dragonite plus 4. One of those 4 is likely to be Tropius. That's the team. I had fun in this draft. I'm going to have fun building. This is definitely going to be challenging, but I look forward to it. There's the squad. There's me. I'm Larry. And that is all. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you in the season. Peace.